Okay, so I'm doing some commentary right now for my Bonfire Peaks speedrun. That is the current world record at 20 minutes and 9 seconds. So as you can see, time starts when we first move, right after we get off the swan boat. Love that cutscene. But sometimes when you're grinding this game, you kind of want to skip it. This one's really simple. The game starts off real easy. Just walk backwards. That's all there is to it. Just walk backwards to carry the box uphill. So how you solve puzzles is you take your object piece, which is your belongings, and you place them in the fire, okay? That's how you like solve puzzles in this game. And what you're trying to do is get to the top of Bonfire Peak, okay, and burn your final belongings. Or actually, when you get up there, you don't even need to burn any belongings anymore. You're at peace. That's what it's all about. That's what this game is all about. Okay, I'll actually turn the camera this way. Okay, so what we've got here is now the game is starting to get a little bit more complicated. Okay, you got to think outside the box a little bit now, right? We're pushing things out of the way with other boxes instead of standing on them, which is what the game like makes you think you want to do there. And then here, watch, we're about to push with a block using like this. We're about to just push it into the fire. And these all get built on over time. This game is really satisfying actually to go through and you know like learn. You feel like you're learning, and it's always an aha moment when you solve these puzzles. For the speed run, of course, we're simply just doing the fastest puzzles that we can in order to get through the game. That's 61 puzzles. We do 61 puzzles exactly, the same 61 every time in the same order every time. Occasionally, you know, you might do one puzzle before another, and that's it doesn't really make that much of a difference for most places. Some places, it's very important that we do it in a specific order so that we can get the boxes in a specific order, because otherwise we would require more running, more walking. So yeah, now we're using a long piece. The game just introduced us to the long piece. Random, or not random, but accidental selection. Happens. I mean, this game, there is basically zero downtime, which is why I'm doing it this style. Almost always I prefer to do my commentary in real time, but yeah, being completely honest, it's just hard to do Bonfire Peaks and commentate in real time. It's really difficult. I actually just did it a little while ago at a marathon event. Shout out Cave. But there were some technical issues, so that VOD unfortunately is not viable. But yeah. That was also the new world record, which is a 1913 or something like that. It was really good. It was we smashed sub 20 while doing commentary, and yeah, shout out to Cave for helping me out there. Cave's a gamer, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Cave's GDQ submissions. I've seen a few of them already, a few of what he was like gaming on before and getting ready to submit. But anyway, so now we've got Crumbling Rock. So Crumbling Rock is one of the next advancements in the game, and basically you can only step on it once. Until later on in the game, we figure out, actually, if you burn one of your own normal wooden pieces and put it on top of Crumbling Rock, you can actually move over it twice. The burning piece falls the first time, and then the Crumbling Rock the second time. And we'll use that later on, actually. And this time, we actually just stacked 2 blocks and pushed it across the Crumbling Rock, which doesn't count as us moving across it. So it's all good. Bring those pieces over here. So yeah, we've very carefully routed what are the best puzzles to do that take the least amount of time and put us in the best position to finish. So there, we're going to drop that piece in place. We had to actually carry a block on our head. You'll notice we actually carried a block on our head for part of that. So we're, you know, at this point of the game, casually, you're really having to start think outside of the box. You really have to think outside the box. Get it? I mean, because it's a bunch of boxes. But that was seriously like to get the box into the fire, you got to really start thinking outside the box. This one's really simple. This one you don't have to think outside the box at all. You have to think inside the box, and it's very easy. But that's pretty much that's one of the last easy ones. There are a few when we get introduced to the arrows, which are coming up actually next. The first few are actually pretty easy, and then after that, there are I don't think there are any really easy ones left. So this one, we're actually just going to use arrows are being introduced. Okay, the arrow can kill the player, forcing you to have to take a turn back. You have to go back one. Okay. So you actually have to go backwards if you do that. Which you do by pressing the B or circle button. Anyway, yeah, that time we just put it in place to get the arrow to shoot so that we don't get hit. If we stepped on it, we would have been hit. This one, kind of the same thing, but it's a little more complicated. You're also starting to see the beginning of levels that can only be completed one way. Okay, there are a lot of puzzles in this game that are very specific, and the order in which you do everything is just as important as what you do, and they have to be exact. Some of them have to be exact, okay? Especially when crumbling rock is involved, okay? I'm trying to get through the... So yeah, that's one thing about the controls. The controls in this game can be a little finicky, just because so in different modes, depending on whether you're controlling a box or not, you will turn when you try to, like, you tap right D-pad, let's say, you will turn and move if you're not carrying a box, but if you are carrying a box, you will only turn. Having to back step up there. So yeah, we had to push that thing through the doorway and also get our piece out there at the same time. This one, we're going to use our object piece to knock that long piece off, but these are tall, long pieces and not the other kind of long piece. And then also we're going to have to do something that in casual play is very easy to forget you can do, which is just run off an edge like that and let the object piece fall in and you fall to the ground. Because it always feels like, no, I have to put it in there. No, you don't. It just has to end up in there. And actually later on in the game, we're going to be doing some even more advanced stuff. Like right now, for example, we're going to be combining 2 blocks so that we can create a bridge. And yeah, we put it in there, but check it out. Pretty soon we're going to be messing with the arrows in completely different ways. This one, we do kind of put it in there as well. We actually put the piece in there, but it's a little different from before because we're making this into our bridge. And the exact turn order is not necessary, but the exact order in which you rotate all those pieces and get to that place is necessary. You have to start from the same point and all of that. Okay, so this one, we want to put this long piece in position, drop the object piece to activate it, put that to the side, then bring this over in position to just be able to push the object piece. That creates a skewer, and then you can move across, having used it as a bridge. Stack these. The overworld is, yeah, such a super comfy place, and it's really, really cool. There are all kinds of, like, you can see all these different paths. Like, there's all kinds of different areas that we just don't get to explore during speedruns, because, again, 61's the magic number. Okay, that one's really complicated in casual play. I don't know if it looks hard, but that one, actually, I found really complicated to figure out, and then once you solve it, you're just like... But it is hard. It is actually hard when you're playing. It doesn't feel like you're going to be facepalming over it later. I mean, then towards the end of the game, I realized, okay, I'm going to facepalm over half of this stuff later on. And I was right, because, yeah, I ended up speedrunning the game. Accidental reselect, that happens sometimes, because you're trying to either, like, move the box or select the next level, which is right next to it. So we're going to drop this to the side, then put it on that little bridge behind us. Drop this to the water, because it carries us, and then we'll drop this into the fire. Okay, now we're going to move on to the area that has spikes that come from the ground. Spikes that come from the ground, so they're exactly what they sound like. There's a little button, like an Indiana Jones style, like little trap, okay? Little spikes on the ground. You get the idea. If you move something off of that button, you get the spike, okay? So like right here, we want to not get the spike. So on some levels, you want to get the spike, but at a specific time, okay? On that level, you wanted to not get the spike to activate at all, just like the first one, where it taught us how to use the spikes. The game audio in this game is so comfy, by the way. This is like one of my favorite OSTs of all time instantly when I first played it. It's so good. Whenever I'm doing any kind of like speedrun learning with the in-game music off or something like that, you know, or like even IL grinding with like music off on some run, I'll often use this OST. It's so good. It's so good. Highly, highly recommend Bonfire Peaks. It's such a quality video game. There's like 200 puzzles in this whole overworld. Okay, there's a lot. So we step on the boxes and they fall into the spike and allow us to pass and survive. Oops, accidental select casual. Ooh, my camera went away. Accidental select casual. Accidental select. Didn't mean to hit that one. Winding path. So this one is really interesting. We drop that tall piece in that specific place from on top of the block so that we carry it from the top of it instead of from the bottom, because if we carry from the bottom, we won't be able to do this, which is push it like that, and then also be able to turn it, and then we back up like this and put it in the fire. This one's pretty interesting. 2 long pieces. A lot of these levels, you look at it at first and you're like, there's no way I have enough to be able to solve this, and then eventually you do. You always have enough, right? It's the knowledge that's missing, just like any good puzzle game, right? You have everything you need. You just need knowledge. You just need to figure it out. So it's called one way. That is factually false. It is not one way. And we prove that by now, again, like I said before, we're going to burn our own pieces, and that enables us to walk across, and we still have 1 left over to step up into the fire. The overworld is honestly one of the hardest parts of this game. I would say running this game, the hardest part. Some of the puzzles are pretty rough. Especially after you've been doing this already for like 12 minutes, your brain starts to fizzle a little bit. It's like a sprint, right? You've literally been like mentally sprinting because there's no downtime. This one, there's a side spike, okay? So we're gonna actually put that normal piece there and try to push it in with the object piece and back up into the fire. Then grab this long piece from the overworld. Long pieces in the overworld are very rare. I think there's only like 6 in the game, 5 or 6, something like that, in the whole game. So they're really rare, and so we need to solve that specific, you know, or one of those puzzles and do that specific offshoot area, right? So we can get the long piece because a bridge was required for that last part back there. We bring those pieces over here and just use those to climb. Turns out we used to do puzzles over here, but we don't need to do that. That was silly. You know, after I completed like my 2nd run, I was like, wait, why do we do that? Let's just bring that thing over here. This game is a big no mic vibe. I mean, it's a vibe, and also it's hard to talk. It's hard to talk. I would definitely want, you know, a commentator for a game like this. And yeah, again, shout out to Cave for helping me out with that. We actually have to rotate that again. This is what I mean. It's at the 12-minute mark exactly, and my brain has started to fizzle a tiny bit. That's just how it goes, because it's just nonstop. Even though the puzzles do not randomize in this game, they're always the same. But it is always just like that. If you're on a good pace, your brain starts to fizzle a little bit, bro. I swear. It's almost like you've overloaded the RAM, you know, and the RAM is now still like it's occupied trying to wash away the old data that it had in there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. That's what it feels like. Is like my RAM hasn't cleared out yet. I still have old RAM from old levels in here, you know? That's what it feels like. We're gonna take that, use that object piece. So in this case, we wanted to deploy the spike so we can create a bridge by putting something on top. I'm trying to fix the camera for the overworld there because my split button is actually R2 on my controller. I figured out a way to use Steam inputs to make that happen. It's so much better for this game because you mash out of the levels, which I only like right before doing this run, like 2 or 3 runs before that, not attempts but finished runs. I realized that you can actually mash to skip the fade out from levels. This one casually is really hard. You will swear up and down, or at least I did. I swore up and down, I do not have enough to finish this, and then I was like, oh yeah, I do. It's always like that. It's literally always like that. Okay, this one's pretty clever. We actually have to push that back and then swing the object piece to push that its place to make a step up. Yeah, we have to body push against that one backwards. This one is actually really, really simple. Kind of a little complicated here because you have to put something like that so that you don't fall straight through when the rock crumbles. You have to put an additional layer up top that is also connected to the other side. This one, we're going to take that object piece and put it down behind us right there because we're actually going to walk this like that into the flame. Okay, we're about to go visit Cat World. Yay, Cat World. Meow. How about that? Was that a good meow? Meow. Anyway, so this is Cat World where there's pretty much no new tech anymore except everything gets harder. you're going to be using all of the old tech, but everything is more complicated, basically. This one's pretty simple, but you have to think a little outside the box. So now we're getting to the point where we're actually going to put the arrow back in the arrow gun and shoot it across into the fire. So now we're getting to the point where we're not even touching the block when it enters the fire, okay? That one's pretty simple because there's only the one piece, and eventually you figure it out like, oh, okay, I know what I need to do. Back this up, put it into the machine. We're actually going to get on top of that now, drop it onto the button, and put that into the fire after it shoots both us and the block across. Love that one. That one's a lot of fun. We actually get on top of the block to do this one so that it gives us our block in a good spot. Wheel around, drop that. That shoots the object piece over there. We can create a skewer that we can then use to back up this into the arrow machine and then shoot both of those into the fire. Gives us our block in a double, which is what we need. This one's a little complicated. We actually have the object piece in play over there that we're not even interacting with, but we have to be smart about what order in which we do things so that we can get everything just right, put the object piece in there, and then shoot that into the fire. Move that into position right in the middle, has to be, and then our stair. Yes. Far left side, turning the corner. This one is casually really hard to solve, but for the speedrun, it's really simple. That long piece creates like a buffer barricade so that it like pauses for a second, and then yeah. Anyway, sorry, it goes so fast that even post run like my hands are free. See, post run commentary, even then it's still hard to do. So this one we've burned the box so we can step on it and it'll go away. Check that out. Reveals the arrow again, puts it back into the machine. That's yeah. Go like rewind and watch that. That one's really cool. Okay, so this one we're going to lay this sideways like that, push the object piece off so that it rises to us, use it as a bridge, and put it into the fire. You get like mom's spaghetti a little bit when you've got a good pace in this run. I feel like obviously in most speed games that's how it goes, right? You get a little bit knees weak, palms sweaty. But it's in this one it's a lot because again you're like. It's not as bad as like there's another game I'm doing this for called Obsidian. That game's even worse because the puzzles are random and it's longer. But this one there's zero downtime. In Obsidian there's actually a few unskippable cutscenes. Really, really cool cutscenes, by the way. Like one of the most beautifully cinematic video games I've ever seen. Love some good water. Okay, we are now at the precipice of the peak. This is when the game starts getting really complicated. Okay, we get that arrow piece and drop it in there so that it hooks onto the object piece, which we're now going to use as a bridge. Move that over one. There we go. And then we're going to be able to just, because it's oriented in exactly that specific way, we can just barely put it into the fire. So for the end portion of that, there's only one way to solve it. So this we're going to now back up and push that back into the arrow machine with the object piece, skewer it, and then we can put that into the fire downstream. The darn. Okay, move that out of position. Get an arrow into this one so that we can hook that into the tall box. We're going to then grab it from the back, put it up there. Use that smaller piece and knock it off, then get on it so that when we pick it up, we're able to float down the river and carry it into the fire. Use that one as a step to get up to the final puzzle in the game, and then we've only got the overworld puzzle remaining after that. The overworld puzzle is pretty complicated and it uses pretty much all of the features that we've seen so far, or most of them anyway. This one's also a pretty complicated one. We push this off the spike. That's a spike button there. The spikes are the black box down at the end. We use that piece that we're holding to push that one into position. I was a little excited and I almost forgot how, what direction I had to face. But yeah, this was a pretty cracked run. But yeah, anyway, we drop that into position. We've got some stairs. Then we head up. We have to walk that backwards, except for right here, catch an arrow, put that on top of this so that we can take them both because we need them to go downstream, and that way this is in position so that when this box comes, it pushes that one into position into the arrow machine, sends it over here where we're going to drop it because the orientation would have been impossible to keep the arrow. We need the arrow in it so that we can drop it into this machine right here, and we're going to use this block up here to go down that stream and hit the button, but we have to be in exactly right this position, not anywhere else, so that we can catch it with our body. Step up here, we're actually going to put the arrowed box into that, our object piece box. We have to grab this from the bottom. It can't be from the top because of this. We catch it with this tall piece. Once it gets shot, the object piece gets shot at us again. Drop that there, then go up here, put this in position so that we can do the final arrow shot with that. Use a double box here so that when you put it into this little burrow there, it slides when you shoot the thing. It'll like push up against it and then slide into the water. Our object piece will when we're on top of it. So there it goes with us on top, and we use the object piece to place it and step onto the peak and end the game. And that's the end of Bonfire Peaks. Bonfire Peaks was made by Corey Martin. I heckin' love Bonfire Peaks. I heckin' love Bonfire Peaks. It is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time. It is extremely comfy. I cannot stress that enough. It's such a comfy video game. I love Bonfire Peaks. I love it, I love it, I love it. Very nice music selection. Really small indie dev project, but honestly, really quality video game. This I would give an estimate of like 24 minutes. I just did this at a marathon and actually broke this world record by like 47 seconds or something.
Well, we beat world record by 43 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I just did that again, but this is me talking back then. But anyway,
Check that right away.
yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This has been my commentary of Bonfire Peaks. Please check out the game. Highly recommend. Very fun.
It again.
Peace.